Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we finally turn to talking about the Jussie Smollett controversy. For those who don't know him, which is basically everyone before this incident, well, Jussie Smollett is a B-level actor, currently appearing on Empire. Now I guess I gotta give more background again because it seems like only black people watch this show. Empire is a quasi-popular TV show on Fox. It's about a hip-hop artist and business mogul, his family, and the drama surrounding them. I haven't seen the show myself, but I have heard good things. Regardless, today's story involves a disturbing trend we've seen coming from the cast of that show. Mainly Jussie Smollett, but also, to a lesser degree, Taraji P. Henson gets pretty involved here too. Involved in what, you might ask? Well, Jussie and Taraji, they like to lie about white people. They've both very publicly made claims that whites were being racist towards them and their family, and they've done so in slanderous ways, which should quite frankly be illegal. Yes, these two are pretty bad race hustlers to say the least, and we'll get back to Taraji's older story a bit later, but first, let's go over the more recent and breaking Jussie Smollett incident. On January 29th, about 3 weeks ago, Jussie Smollett told authorities he was attacked by two white men who were, quote, yelling out racial and homophobic slurs, while also wearing red MAGA hats. He also said that one attacker put a rope around his neck, a noose, and poured an unknown chemical substance on him that was later claimed to be bleach. And then to make this story even more implausible and unlikely, Jussie finished it off by saying the supposed attackers yelled, "This is MAGA country," as they walked away, which is something I've never heard anyone else say, especially not Trump supporters. So, needless to say, many people were very skeptical about this story. Not only did what Jussie said sound unlikely and unbelievable, it also sounded too perfect to be true. Smollett is a gay black man who hates Trump, and then he just happens to get accosted by Trump supporters in the middle of the night, a story that would make Trump's side look terrible, and also make Jussie's side look good, and give him an amazing victimhood story to take to the press. Oh, and it gets even worse than this too. First, there are more damning details about Jussie's whereabouts that night. You see, this happened at 2 a.m. in Chicago in January, when it was also freezing cold outside. Yet, for some reason, there were two white Trump supporters waiting around with bleach and ropes on them, ready to pounce on Jussie, who was supposedly just going to Subway for a sandwich. Yeah, right. No one's gonna go out to Subway at 2 a.m. in freezing cold just for one of their shitty sandwiches. Not walking, at least. And not only is Subway trash and not worth this, but also, Jussie is a rich and overprivileged, pampered celebrity. He probably never eats Subway. He probably wouldn't eat Subway if it was given to him for free, in the most convenient circumstances. Let alone would Jussie go out at 2 a.m. in the cold, walking around, trying to get a turkey sandwich. But maybe he did have the munchies and was craving a chicken teriyaki sub. Lord knows I've been there, but even if that was the case and that was true, this guy wouldn't have walked to get it. He would have just ordered it from Grubhub or something. And did I also mention that there's not too many Trump fans in these black parts of Chicago? Oh, and also, Jussie just happened to come out with his own music for sale at the same time this happened. Yeah, he's an aspiring musician and he just conveniently got the best story ever to happen to him, just in time to help promote his new album. Shit, his friends supporting him on Twitter, they were even linking to places to buy his music after they tried to garner sympathy for Jussie following these supposed attacks, which of course are being spun as a hate crime now everywhere, on Twitter and in the news and on TV. Yeah, and that's the thing that makes this story so much worse too. Not only was Jussie likely lying and race baiting with his story in order to get attention and sell his album, he was also clearly trying to attack Trump and conservatives, but also every liberal and their mother went right along with this bullshit, no questions asked. People were tweeting and supporting this everywhere, while also saying how racist and terrible Trump and his supporters are. And worst of all, a large majority of the mainstream media propagated this divisive bullshit story too. Jussie even got a softball interview on Good Morning America that let him further spread this very unlikely, implausible story. And again, even in an interview situation, Jussie was hardly questioned about things at all. And that pro-Jussie, anti-Trump supporter propaganda continued to spread around for weeks too. But things all started to change a few days ago, when the cops eventually turned on Jussie publicly. First, the two supposed attackers were found, and they were arrested by the police too, but the thing is, they weren't white, nor were they Trump supporters. The police arrested two black Nigerian men, who had previously worked with Jussie on the show Empire. Wow, the plot thickens, as they say. It also seems the police investigation has shifted its goal. The cops are no longer looking into Jussie's supposed Trump supporter attackers. They are now investigating Jussie to see if he orchestrated this whole attack himself. He might have faked it and paid those guys off or something. And there was also a point that made things suspicious too, when Jussie refused to give the police his phone for the investigation. He even withheld it for a while and then gave it to the cops later, after he had time to delete some things and cover up his tracks. And I have to say here too, I think we all saw this part coming. This is why I waited so long to cover this story too. I knew it was suspicious from the beginning, but originally all we had was our logic and intuition, but now with these police reports and new evidence coming out, I think it's safe to say there is definitely something fishy going on here. The full and complete truth may still need to come out later, but I can now say with great confidence that we know Jussie is full of shit. After the police turned on Jussie, you'd think his other supporters might come out and make some corrections themselves too, huh? Especially the mainstream media. Surely they need to be posting some retractions on this one, right? Well, not really. Most of the Jussie supporters and the news, they've all gone completely mum on this issue now. Now that it's not playing in their favor, the news is ready to let this story go and be forgotten. In fact, some reporters have decided to be more reserved and wait for all the evidence to come out now. Really? Now you want to wait and be careful and check the facts? After all the mainstream media pounced on this story without thinking before, when it made Trump and conservatives look racist, but now that it makes liberals look like crazy liars who make shit up, well, all the left-wingers want to wait and see and get the facts now that that's the case. Priceless. You really couldn't make this kind of hypocrisy up if you tried to. But it's really easy to hold Jussie Smollett to the flames at this point. But the real problem here is far bigger than him. This is happening as a result of an age that glorifies victimhood and gives attention to those who wish to manipulate the optics of situations publicly. That's why Smollett's story got this far in the first place. It's because liberals and journalists, who are one and the same, they are frothing at the mouth for ways to attack their opposition. And sure, maybe you could say conservatives can be like that too, but we're not making shit up and lying and race baiting and causing divisive chaos when we do it. Shit, we don't even need to. Attacking the left with their own real words and bad ideas is plenty ammunition for our side, but liberals trying to attack us have a much tougher angle to approach. Us, the liberals' enemies, we're not liars or anti-Americans or communists or socialists. So, since we're the enemy and we're not evil or wrong, then well, that's why people like Jussie have to lie and make shit up about us in order to attack us. And this isn't even the first time this has happened this year. Shit, there were 3 big left-wing hoaxes in the news in just the month of January. First, there was the tragic death of Jasmine Barnes, which the mother and the media tried to pin on a random, made-up white guy. It ended up being 2 black men who were affiliated with the mother who were arrested for the killing. Then another story a week later was the Covington Catholic controversy. We covered this one pretty extensively here, but the gist of it was a group of high school boys were wearing MAGA hats and they were attacked by the left and the media for supposedly attacking a Native American protester, when it really turned out that the natives actually approached the boys, and the video evidence proved the MAGA kids did nothing wrong. But by the time the truth actually came out, they were already slammed and slandered in the media, and the damage was done. Are you guys starting to notice the pattern here? Just like with the current Jussie controversy happening now, so too did the Barnes death and the Covington Catholic story. They were all ways for the media to try and attack white people and call us and Trump supporters racist, when we're really not though. In fact, in all of these cases, it was actually liberal minorities who were the ones in the wrong. And finally, before we go, let's talk about one more hate crime hoax from a few years ago. As I said before, Jussie Smollett isn't the first Empire cast member to cry wolf about racism and supposedly getting oppressed by white people. Fellow cast member Taraji Henson also had her own race-baiting story back in 2014. Back then, Henson said that her son had been racially profiled by police and that his car had been illegally searched during a traffic stop on October 18th in Glendale, California. Later, a video obtained by the Los Angeles Times showed Marcel, her son, had driven through a lighted crosswalk while a pedestrian was crossing, an illegal act. And also, he had given verbal consent to the cops, allowing them to search his vehicle, and he even admitted to smoking marijuana just 2 hours before driving. Hashish oil and pot were found inside his car as well. This resulted in Henson apologizing 40 minutes after the video was made public. She said in an Instagram message, "I would like to publicly apologize to the officer and the Glendale Police Department. A mother's job is not easy, and neither is a police officer's."
So I'm just gonna have you step out of the vehicle real quick, alright? Watch yourself. Step out of the vehicle and just go to the sidewalk, man. Keep your hands in your pockets. Alright. Now, do you have anything else in the car besides the weed that I should know about? Huh? I'm sorry? Ritalin? Yeah. Is it prescribed to you? No. It's not prescribed to you.
In the end, I think you guys get the point. If a story or some supposed racism seems too good to be true, then it probably is. And if a wannabe musician claims to have been attacked right before the record comes out, I would certainly be questioning his motives. In fact, some accounts are even suggesting that Jussie paid those Nigerians to fake the attack on him. They could have all been in cahoots with each other. And if that's true, Jussie could be going to jail for years. Not that I want or hope for that, but after this, Jussie certainly deserves it. My real hope is that people become more and more skeptical about the media and the news. Trusting the media, celebrities, and the news less, and going with your gut is certainly the way to go. We're definitely not in an age where we can take anyone's word for it anymore, and we certainly can't trust the news to be unbiased and to report just the facts. And many in the media aren't doing the kind of self-reflecting they need to do here. Just look at this reaction from CNN's Brian Stelter. This video shows his reaction after the Jussie Smollett story started to turn for the worst.
I think in retrospect that Good Morning America interview, which allowed him to tell his side of the story, just made things worse for him. And perhaps the questioning was not tough enough on Good Morning America. But ultimately, this is not about the media or about politicians or activists or any of the people that might have been fooled. It's about Jussie, and I agree with what everyone else has said. This is about why he might, and so far we don't know, but why he might have made this up.
I know why. He made it up to get attention and notoriety, and those sweet victim points from the media and the public. But I guess we really shouldn't be surprised that Brian Stelter has the worst take on this issue. Clearly this is about the media, politicians, and activists. In addition to it being about Jussie too. They all want stories like this to be true so bad that they don't even take the time to look for the facts anymore, and some of them are even making shit up. But still, there is a good side to all this bad news too. While it's a really terrible look for the media, something they may never be able to come back from, but it's also good for us. The liberals in the mainstream media have been exposed as frauds once again. Sure, it took us taking some flack to get here, but now the left are eating their just desserts, and it's oh so fun to watch, and oh so sweet to taste. Those sweet, sweet, sweet liberal tears. What do you guys think? Did Jussie Smollett fake this whole thing to sell songs on iTunes? Will the media ever come clean? Because they were virtually accomplices in this hoax. And what do you think about the recent wave of anti-white, anti-Trump, hate crime hoaxes? Will this get worse before it gets better? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and we'll see you all next time.